Let's go to Katie in Dallas, Texas. What's up, Katie?
Hi there.
What's up?
Oh, just anxious.
Don't be anxious. This is the anti-anxiety show.
That's why I'm calling.
So what's up? What's up?
So my question is, how do I get over the fear/anxiety of my husband dying? So my husband's perfectly healthy. Like, there's nothing wrong with him. So it sounds ridiculous for me to ask that.
Hold on. Whoa. Don't start out judging yourself. We haven't even gotten going yet. 100% chance. 100% chance. At some point, your husband dies.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's just a statement. That's a fact. There's a period at the end of that sentence. It happens at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not crazy.
Okay.
Okay? Your alarm systems may be going off. They may be detecting things, whatever, but you're not crazy. Okay? Your body's just trying to take care of you. So tell me more.
When my husband and I first started dating, we were about 22 and 24, and he told me, hey, I think I'm going to die at 25. I just have this feeling. I've had this feeling my whole life. So till he turned 25, I was like panicking. And then, of course, he's fine. We're 30 and 31 now. But at dinner the other night, I asked him, I was like, hey, what's your goals for life? You know, mine was like to write a book and to maybe have kids. And so I was expecting something like start a business or something. And he told me, he was like, I'm going to die young. And I was like, well, what? And he was like, I'm going to die young. I think about 60. And it just immediately set off like all this anxiety. Like, I'm going to have to be alone. I'm not going to be safe. My kids are only going to have, you know, a father till he's 60. That's so young. And like, just started feeling anxious about every time around my husband. I'm like, is this, you know, the last moment we're going to be together? Like, just these outrageous like thoughts coming in.
Have you lost somebody? Did your dad pass away?
No, but wow, I don't know why that's triggering an emotion. I don't have a good relationship with my father.
Okay.
He did adopt me.
Okay.
And then my biological father was completely absent.
Okay. So your body knows that story, right?
Yeah.
That the man that's signed up to take care of you leaves.
Yeah.
Yep. It knows that in the mitochondria. It knows that all the way down to the core. Right? I told you at the beginning of this call, you're not crazy. Okay? Now, your husband, his death projections are their avoidance strategies for the hard, terrifying work that every person has to go through, which is, how do I make a good life? And it's easier just to be like, well, I'm going to die anyway. To avoid the, what if I did start a business? Yeah, but what if it fails? What if I did have 3 kids? Yeah, but one of them got sick. What if I wasn't a good dad? What if they just annoy me and they spend all my money? I'll just do nothing. It's an anxiety response. It's a depression response, right?
That makes 100% sense. I never thought of that, but that tracks.
He is, it happened to me the other night. The Astros were playing, and I caught myself after the 6th or 7th time in the playoffs. With my son was watching it together, and we're cheering him on, and somebody would get out or they'd make an error. And I would say, that's it. I don't like it. That's it. Next guy's going to get a hit. I didn't know the next guy was going to get a hit. You know what I was doing? I was subconsciously projecting. I was practicing the next guy in line hitting a home run and the Astros losing. I was practicing it. The great Amos Tversky is a psychologist. He's just one of the smartest men to ever live. He said, being pessimistic is stupid because if it comes through, you've experienced it twice. Once when you thought about it, and once when it actually happens. What a dumb way to live. You know what I mean? And so your husband is like, well, I'm going to avoid failure. I'm going to avoid the hard tasks of leaning in. Well, he's clearly got some stuff that happened to him when he was a kid that made him think had very short-term thinking, right? The difference between abundance thinking and a poverty mindset, right? All I have to say is this. Sometimes the question, what are your life goals, is terrifying if somebody's never seen that play out. That's a terrifying question. It's big.
hmm
I wanted to
And he's
name.
faced some big failures, so it makes sense,
There you go.
like, why he would feel that way.
Yeah, dude, I've tried, man. I got in the ring. I got knocked out. I got embarrassed. I got hit so hard I peed my pants. I'm not getting back in there. Right?
Yeah.
And then he's like almost hoping the world takes him in 4 or 5 years. Because it just feels like it would be better than just hurting all the time.
Mm,
And now he's been with you for several years and you're great. So he doesn't want to just disappear because you're awesome. But 60's fine. Also, that's when I start getting old and it takes longer to pee and it hurts when I stand up. Right? You know what I mean?
yeah.
He's just doing the math. And the question, what are your life goals? I remember the first title I wanted to, like the book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, I wanted to name it How to Change Everything. And I was all excited about that title. And I told my wife, and she goes, I would never read that book. It's too much. I can't change everything. And I was like, well, you can just change it all. And she's like, that's too much. Because I got 2 little kids. I can't change that. I'm married to you. I can't change that. We live here. Like, right? So all that to say is this. I would break these questions up into smaller, digestible chunks. Where do you want to live? Where do you want to live? Let's just make like a plan. Where do you want to live? Would you
Yeah.
read a book with me? And then I'll read the next one and you read the next one? I don't read books. I know. Would you just do it for me? We'll go on a wild romantic rendezvous after we finish every book. How about that? Right? Whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Would you, like, how much sex do you want to have this year, this month, this week? Would you plan that with me? Right? So we're taking what are your goals? What's this life going to look like? And we're just breaking it up into smaller chunks. And here's what we're doing. Not what are our goals? We're answering the question, who do we want to be? Who do we want to be? What kind of non-anxious life do we want to build for ourselves? And then what do we got to do
I
to
think
get?
that's more what I was looking for
It
by
was.
asking that
Yeah,
question.
it was. And the questions, what are your life goals? Instantly set off, dude, I don't even want to be here. Right? He didn't even answer your question. And then here's an important thing. As his wife, you get to say, I don't accept that. I reject that. You married me. You don't get to cash out at 60.
Yeah.
Because that's just when it starts getting weird and I get super wrinkly. You got to ride it. If you're taking all my pretty years, you got to ride out my last 30. Right? And you'll still be
Right.
beautiful in the last 32, by the way. So, like, he can run his mouth about dying in 30 years. Cool. But in the meantime, you want to partner with him on creating a life worth living with the time you got left.
Right. Because my first response was like, well, we might as well not do anything
No.
since you're going to leave.
Yep. That's your anxiety talking.
Yeah.
Right? That's the fight or flight or freeze. Like, what? Can't fight this guy. Can't run from it. So I'm just going to shove it all down.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I'm just going to sit on it. And if you sit on it long enough, if you compress it all down, another word for compress, if you push your hands down is to depress, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your body just says, let's just don't move. This is safe. No one will see us. We can ride this thing out. And then we're done. And as for me, Katie, I'm not interested in that kind of life.
Me either.
Right? So, two important takeaways here. The next time your body takes off on you, don't start with, I should have, or I've got to. Just be curious. What's my body trying to tell me right now? What's it scared of? What's my body trying to protect me from? Oh, another man says he's going to leave me. And then you look at him and be like, you don't get to. Right? The other 2 did. You don't get to. Or
Right.
maybe the next time it's you catch him glancing some way and it makes you feel small, or he says he doesn't want to have sex one night and you suddenly feel your body just starts and like, oh, what am I being curious? What I'm just gonna be curious. What is my body trying to tell me? Oh, I took that as rejection. Maybe it has nothing to do with me. Right? You start being curious about what your body's trying to tell you. Your body's a pretty good signal giver if we can listen to it. The second thing is be direct with him. You promised me. You told God and our family and all of our friends that you're in this with me. If you die when you're 60, you die when you're 60. But until we get there, you and I want us to build a life worth living. What is that going to look like? Where do we want to live? What do we want to do? How much sex do we want to have? Do we want to have kids? Do we not want to have kids? Like, what do we want that to look like? If you die when you're 60, we'll deal with that when you're 60. That's not an excuse to cash out for the next 30 years. And he may need to go talk to a counselor. In fact, I think it'd probably be wise.
I wish you would. I've been trying.
Have you gone?
Yes.
Have you invited him
did.
to your session?
No.
Give that a shot.
I have mentioned it to him.
No, you've passively been like, well, it's helping me. Maybe it would help you. That's not it.
You're right.
That's not it. Say it would mean the world to me if you came to my next counseling session with me. I ain't going to that. That's dumb. You can think it's dumb all you want. You get to do that. But I'm asking you as your wife, for me, would you go? Because I'm trying to learn some different ways to love you better, and it would help if you were there. And that sister is taking a risk, right?
Right.
Yeah. He's lucky to have you. And your biological dad didn't leave because of you. And that man who adopted you, I'm so glad he saw you when you were young and said, I want to take her home. And whatever's gotten sideways in y'all's relationship isn't on you. He's your dad. Right?
Right.
Okay. It's a high honor in my day that I got to meet you and talk to you.
Same to you. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
I want you from this call forward to start being nicer to Katie because you're mean to Katie. Quit being mean to Katie. You've had enough mean in your life.
That would be nice.
Is that fair?
It is fair, 100%.
All right. Being mean is, how am I going to deal with this moment right now? Being kind is, what might next week or next month or next year look like, and what can I do now to get there? Mean is short-term thinking. Kind is tomorrow thinking. Mean is, I could beat you today at the polls. Kind thinking is, man, what kind of world are our kids about to inherit 10 years from now? Mean is, you're an idiot. Kind is, yeah, I'm sorry. Here, you go ahead of me. Mean is, Katie, why did you do that again? You're just going to make him mad. Kind is, hey, honey, let's build a life worth living. You promised me you would. You're in, I'm in. I won't ask you what your goals are anymore, but I am going to ask you how much sex you want to have. I'm going to ask you where you want to eat for dinner. I'm going to ask you, where do you want to live? We're going to figure those things out. Build a life worth living.